Oh, and I'm over encumbered again. So I'm coming here first. I backtrack to here to see if Chloe, or Chloe's the dog, isn't it? See if there's any new information. I'll get rid of that green tint for my light. See if there's new information here from her. Yeah, Chloe's the dog. Heather.
Chloe's my pet. Or maybe I'm hers. I'm not sure. Here to brush up on your responder survival training?
No, so they have given her no new dialogue involving the new responders people. So let me run inside real quick. Nope. So they touched nothing here. Would have been nice to, drop a little note saying, hey, new responders have moved. That's okay. That's okay. Let's just go ahead and head back to the interior of the refuge, and we'll just get the quest started. We'll just go ahead and get the quest started. A little bit of a started quest. I don't know what else they've changed other than this place. So I'm hoping a lot of places didn't just get ruined and that the majority of it's going to be in the pit. Okay. Speak to somebody in charge.
If you ever find yourself in a bind, you can always call on us.
I literally saved the world. I don't need you.
Well, hello, darling. A pleasure to meet another guest of our fine establishment. I am Orlando, your host and management liaison. If you'll pardon me for just one moment. That will be all. Please give my regards to Ms. Rucker. If you are here for leisure, I regret to inform you that our regular resort activities are temporarily unavailable. However, if you are here for the refuge and the fine work of the lovely responders, I am delighted to welcome you on their behalf.
What exactly is going on here?
Ah, perhaps you have not heard. The White Spring is now home to the refuge, a place of safety and care for all in need. The refuge is being run by the responders, individuals committed to the well-being of their fellows. They founded the refuge in response to new waves of refugees coming to Appalachia, people in great need of help. Food, medical care, clothing, a place to sleep. All of these are available for those who need them.
A bit ironic considering. Oh, dang it. What I should have done. A bit ironic for the logic that the right before. Or right. Oh, it wasn't right, but sometime after the bombs, the robots were ordered to get everyone out of the hotel, and they killed people that didn't leave the hotel, and now all of a sudden it's totally fine. Which might be why they blocked off the lower half, because no one's allowed to live here during renovations, and renovations aren't going on. Like, that's just the lore of it. Something I could do to help. See, I hate the dialogue thing because I'm probably missed options. Is there anything I could do to help?
What a wonderful thing for you to ask, darling. I knew there was something special about you from the moment I saw you. As it happens, the responders are looking for volunteers to assist them in a particular outreach effort. Those industrious wonders have repaired a vertibird to full working order and are using it to make contact with more distant settlements. They've made allies with people in Pittsburgh. The locals call it the Pit now.
The pit.
Who seem to be in dire need of outside assistance. If you don't mind me saying so, you look like you can handle yourself. You might be just who they're looking for.
See, again, there was all those other dialogue options that are now gone. Uh, what is it they need? The pit. That's a grim nickname. Who are these allies? Wait, the responders have a vertibird. See, like I want to ask all these questions, but I only get one until I go through on a different playthrough.
Well, they'll be better able to explain the details, but I believe they're looking for fighters, actually. Their contacts in the pit are in something of a desperate situation, it seems, against a dangerous enemy. I hate the thought of you putting yourself in such danger, but it does appear to be for a good cause.
Okay, so this one gives me more things. Okay, the pit. It's a grim nickname.
Judging by what I've heard, it's an accurate one, sadly. Pittsburgh was bombed quite severely during the war. The poor individuals still living there have renamed it to better reflect its dreadful circumstances.
Who are these allies?
They call themselves the Union. Something of a resistance movement, I understand, against more aggressive forces. One of their representatives is currently staying with us, a Mr. Skippy Rorich. Delightful man.
Did she say Rorich? Wait, the responders have a vertibird?
Indeed, isn't that marvelous? They salvaged it and painstakingly repaired it. It's fully functional now. I was very pleased to be able to contribute to this effort in my own small way. If you wish to see it, it resides on the roof of the refuge between flights, along with its charming pilot, Miss Lennox.
Okay, I don't know how they have a vertibird. I'm going to assume that because this is only 20 years later, someone old enough knew how to run a vertibird, yada, yada, yada. I don't think I'm up for long distance travel.
No? What a disappointment. I'm sure you have your reasons, darling, but I did hope you might be interested. Please, enjoy the hospitality of the White Spring and the refuge. If you change your mind, do come see me again.
Okay.
Change your mind, darling? Interested in helping the responders, after all?
I was hoping that would let me go back and redo some of the other dialogue. So I missed 2 rows of full-on dialogue options because of the way the dialogue works. Let's say I'm in. What's next?
Oh, you're terribly brave, aren't you, dear? Imagine if we all had such courage. Now, darling, before anybody bundles you off, the first thing you should do is introduce yourself to some of the responders. I just so happen to know a few in need of more local assistance, and helping them will earn you the other thing you'll need. That other thing, of course, being the ultrasight battery cells,
Ultrasight
which
battery
fuel
cells,
the vertibird.
ultracells.
Ultracells, if you prefer.
Okay, so what do I need to help? See, again, like, I don't know what question to ask because I don't know what I'm going to get locked out of. Ultrasight battery cells. Where are they getting those?
Why, from me, of course. Rather, from the management via me, that is. When management heard the responders were restoring the vertibird, they wished to help. They provided the ultracells, and I suggested them to the responders as an alternative means of fueling the vertibird. Per management instructions, I distribute a quantity to certain individuals regularly. Management feels this encourages collective decision-making rather than stockpiling. I'm sure they'd be willing to part with them in exchange for your aid.
Aren't you management? I went looking through the whole building. You're the only non-responder. They touch on it. Hold up. Okay. Control the supply cells, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to the pitch, and they just give them to me. Okay, wait. I discovered one of those ultra cells elsewhere. I thought it was a unique experiment.
I could not possibly speak to your experience, dear. It sounds remarkable to make such discoveries. All I can tell you is that the management provides them for the refuge. Regrettably, that is as much as I know of the matter. I'm
You're gonna
not
get
wager
swamped
that
by the freaking
whoever was
Brotherhood.
behind the ultracell you discovered Likely shared similar contacts with management at some point, but who can say?
Surprised the Brotherhood isn't here, seeing as you have a vertibird. If you control the supply of cells, why don't you just give me what I need? Exactly.
My dear, you must understand. Much as I would like to, my responsibilities do not permit me to do so. I am but a humble employee of the management, and I distribute their resources as instructed to the letter. I hope you will not begrudge me my loyalty. I find myself quite fond of you already.
If I'm going to the pit for them, shouldn't they just give me the cells?
In an ideal world, darling, I'm sure they would. Sadly, this is not that world, and any reticence on their part is understandable. I don't want to speak for the responders, but I believe they may also see this as more for their union friends than for themselves. Your assistance with their more immediate concerns will ensure everyone benefits. Isn't that a good outcome?
It's too much effort. I'm going to go.
I'm so sorry to hear you say that, darling. Still, it must be your own decision, of course. Should you change your mind, come find me. In the meanwhile, please make yourself at home. You are always welcome here.
I'm back.
Glad to see you reconsider, darling. I believe we were discussing you earning some ultrasight battery cells from the responders.
Okay, so who do I need to help?
Our lovely Ms. Rucker is the closest thing to a leader the refuge has, though I believe she's less than comfortable with the title. You can find her in their headquarters, beyond the dining area. The darling chef, Miss Rousseau, needs some assistance in the kitchen
Rousseau.
out here. And Miss Wagner, over in the common area, is looking for donations. I'm sure your generosity will be well rewarded.
Okay, so 3 people, 3 quests. Alright, I'll talk to them and see what they need. Or this better be worth it.
Wonderful, my dear. I'm certain you will be a tremendous help to them and the refuge. When you are finished with each of them, I recommend you speak with Mr. Skippy Rorich,
Skippy!
union representative. I imagine he'll want to discuss the situation in the pit with you before you embark. Do feel free to visit me at your leisure if you wish to chat. I have an office in the management wing. You can't miss it.
No, actually, I was just there, and I'm going to run there before you get there to read your terminal.
Helping people is our chief mission.
Just to find out a bit more. The management wing. Which direction was it? It was in the pink, so it's this way? Yeah, this way. Right here. Orlando's terminal. Welcome to the White Spring User Management Liaison, Orlando. Please select an option, personal logs or logistics. Personal logs? Really? Empty, no personal logs? Logistics. Inventory requests approved and pending review. So here's the approved shelf stable cosmetics? Whatever. 1 month supply at 2 meals per diem for 75 persons. Potable water, 1 month supply at 1 gallon per person per diem for 75 persons. Sorry, it's the rum. Clothing, 3-season, 50 units synthetic fiber unisex shirts in 3 sizes. Tools, I was going to say medicinal. Tools, mechanical, 30 units assorted mechanical tools, including 12-piece socket wrench set as requested. Medication, 20 bottles broad spectrum antibiotics, 35 bottles anti-radiation medication. Couldn't they just go into the stores below and get what they need? Inventory requests. Pending review. Aerospace components suitable for military vertibird sundry. Sorry, I thought that was the name. I've been drinking a bit too much, huh? Aircraft grade engine lubricant. 5 drums at 200 liters each. See note 1. Okay, medication. Antiviral. I own a thingy that just removes those things, but they don't have the technology for it. Surveying equipment, including but not limited to thermodial, clinometer, planimeter, planimeter, and Geiger counter. Firearms, various. See note 2. Oh, for some reason when it said C note 1 and note 2, I thought it meant the asterisk. No, so note 1. Miss Lennox winked at me and smiled when making this request, adding, could be a lot of fun under the right circumstances. That's getting the... Oh, okay, I get it. Though I am unclear of her meaning. Okay. I have filed the request per usual. She doesn't get the lubricant joke. Got it. Note 2. This came from our request, our guest, Mr. Rorick, who, when asked if the White Spring could provide anything to aid his Union compatriots, specified, and I quote, "Big honking guns, you know what I'm talking about." In the interest of good faith, I have submitted this, I don't know if that's his voice yet, submitted this request to the owners in more formal terms, but I have likewise attempted to make clear to him that our assistance is more conventionally in a non-offensive capacity. So she's the... Oh, sorry. They are the only ones in management. Who do they answer to? Orlando?
My dear, it warms my heart to know that you remain safe after such dangerous travels. What can we do for you?
I'd like to talk about you.
Me, dear? Would you really want to dispel all the mystery? What is it you wish to know?
I'm curious about you, Orlando. Tell me about yourself.
Do I have an admirer? Flattery will get you,
do,
everywhere,
and
darling.
Whoever that
That
one
being
was
said,
talked about the lubricant.
There is little to tell, really. I am the White Spring Management's liaison to the Responders' Refuge. It's a role I quite enjoy. It pleases me when I can be of service to others.
I'm asking about your job, Orlando. Who are you?
I don't mean to be coy, dear. My work is my life, as they say. It fills my time and fulfills me. There's nothing wrong with that, is there? Besides, don't you
I really
find
wish
a
you could
bit
turn
of
pop-ups
mystery
off.
all the more compelling? If I bared my soul and told you everything, I'm sure you'd be terribly bored. If I remain an enigma, it might keep you coming back for more of these lovely chats.
Okay. I want to know more about your past.
I can't imagine there's anything of interest to you there, dear. But you may ask.
Where'd you come from? Before the White Spring, I mean.
Oh, here and there, darling. I've been to lots of places before the management asked me to take over here. If you want to imagine a thrilling,
management is
intriguing
clearly
story
another
about my past,
organization.
don't let me stop you, please.
So you've traveled a lot, but you must have started somewhere.
Can't wait for my tell-all autobiography. I can't blame you. Who knows when I'll find the time to write it? How about just a little dark secret of mine to tide you over? I'm not from anywhere interesting, actually. Nothing remarkable about my origins at all. Disappointing, isn't it, dear? That's why I usually let people imagine their own version of things. Keeps them interested.
I feel like you are the child of the owner of the White Spring. That there is like a letter of resignation around here, and I believe the child of the original manager wanted to be a writer or something, or an architect, or didn't want to be an architect, something like that. I feel like you're the child of that person, because that's the only logical reason I can think of why you bypassed all the security stuff and work as management. Like the robots aren't just going to let you work as management unless you have the credentials or whatever to bypass and hack and stuff. And you don't seem like that type. Why all the travel?
Working after a fashion. You must understand, dear, the management cannot travel as freely as most people can. In their stead, I have wandered far and wide, seeing to their interests and being their eyes and ears, hands too, as necessary. It had its good moments. I enjoy meeting new people, and much of the countryside is still beautiful, despite everything. But to be honest, my darling, it was a relief to come here to do this. It's been too long since I could remain in one place for a while. Promise me you won't get bored if I become a homebody. I'm getting used to a soft bed and clean clothes.
I just thought about it. The management is probably the Enclave because the Enclave is underneath the White Springs. And they are talking about how they have traveled far and wide and are basically an observer. So they are most likely an Enclave envoy who is observing what's going on here and is running the show behind the people to keep tabs on them. Mind if we talk about something else?
Not at all, dear.
What can you tell me about the refuge?
I'm afraid you may wish to ask the lovely Rucker those questions, darling, but I shall do my best.
What's your perspective on the refuge?
A wonderful idea, of course. It can be a beacon of hope for the unfortunates of Appalachia. And as I believe I mentioned, darling, the management are very positive on the effort and give it their full support.
Because it's like, why else? Like, because there's no one else here, so who else would the management be? It has to be the Enclave. And they're giving the full support because they want to know what's going on elsewhere. Did the responders get permission before setting up the refuge?
Actually, no, they didn't. That's no fault of theirs, darling. Nobody could have known the owners were still involved. Management has monitored the property, of course, and there have been scavengers before, but the robotic staff sufficed. Once aware the responders were establishing a permanent presence, management sent me to bestow their blessing and be their liaison.
Yeah, so it's the Enclave, hands down. That's all. That's just who it has to be. Let's talk about something else.
I am ready as ever to accommodate.
I want to know more about management. Okay.
There is very little I'm permitted to speak about, but ask away, dear.
Who exactly are management? This seems fishy.
My dear, nothing would bring me more joy than to answer your questions. Your suspicions wound me. However, my employer values their privacy as highly as they value the fine work the responders are doing here. Suffice it to say, they are the owners of the White Spring, as I believe I've mentioned.
I can't say, hey, I'm with the Enclave. Okay.
I am at your disposal.
I'm curious about your duties here.
I'll be delighted to explain what I can.
What sort of work do you do for management?
Oh, a bit of this, a bit of that, whatever they require. As you might imagine, the state of things prevents them from much travel. I go where they need me to go and see to what affairs they see fit. In this case, the White Spring itself and the refuge. Think of me as a concierge, my dear. I'm here to improve your experience in whatever way you require.
Okay. What do you do for the refuge?
My role as liaison is to facilitate the needs of the responders and our guests and speak for the interests of management. That sounds terribly formal, I know, but in practical terms, it means I do what I can to keep the White Spring livable and support the refuge. I oversee the robotic staff to attend to the former, and in the latter case, I arrange for the disbursement of resources from management. Food, medicine, materials. Management has considerable resources, which they are happy to donate. I handle those arrangements.
Okay. If management is supplying the refuge, where is it all coming from?
darling, you can't imagine I would tell you a thing like that. A less trusting soul might think you were pumping me for information in the hopes of planning a heist. Of course, I know that's not why you ask, but you understand why I have to be rather secretive on this subject, don't you? Let's just say management wisely invested its wealth when such things mattered, and are now well equipped to be generous.
Okay.
Of course, darling, whatever you like.
I think that's it. Oh,
Believe me.
dang it. No, come back.
Always a pleasure.
I didn't know that there was another option there. I have need of some services.
Certainly. What do you require?
Hoping to do some trading. Is there any food or drink available? Hoping to do some trading.
But of course, the White Spring is home to a number of robotic merchants in the concourse downstairs. However, if you prefer a human touch with your shopping experience, may I recommend you speak with Giuseppe, a charming man with a discerning eye. I have no doubt you shall get along famously, dear.
Okay. Is there any food or drink? She's going to tell me the same
I
things.
believe the responders have commandeered the kitchens to provide for those deprived souls coming to the refuge. However, the White Springs robotic waitstaff can no doubt provide you with light libations in the dining area. You may wish to head downstairs to the merchant concourse and visit Marie and Antoine to sate your
Marie
hunger.
Antoine. I didn't notice their names until now. Marie Antoine. What about medical services?
Regrettably, the White Spring itself is not equipped to provide full medical care at this time. I do apologize, darling. And the refuge clinic is reserved for the poor indigents arriving at its doors in dire straits. If your needs are less immediate and severe, may I suggest a visit to the chemists in the downstairs concourse? Doc Stanley has a variety of medicines available appropriate for personal use.
And mind if we change the subject?
Not at all, my dear.
I believe that's it.
Believe me, I shall be counting the minutes, dear. Come back safely.
Okay. But this now, Responders Reborn states I got to complete Refuge Daily Quests. So, Code Blue, Mutual Aid, and Receipt for Success. So I'm going to cut this one off here then.
You think I have what it takes to be a responder?
Sure, I don't care. And put each of those quests in its own thing as I also gather the other dialogue and stuff that goes with it.